The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome, guys, to the session, and let's start a bonus session to learn something out of the syllabus topic and to increase the knowledge. So, before we start, let me tell you the background of this session. So, here, what we are going to do actually is we are going to learn one very interesting concept of security or sharing here. And let me tell you something about the background about the same. So when you learn the training from my side, from in the admin syllabus specifically, so you have seen that we have concept in the admin syllabus of security. You also understood that in how different ways we can set up the security. We can have object level security like profile, permission set, OWD. We can have record level security, that is role sharing, rule managed sharing. We have field level security also. We have seen such many things, but everything we saw, it's actually without any kind of coding. And please note also, we have seen that there is a concept called as with sharing and without sharing. That also we saw in our training program, by which actually we can make the settings for actually we can make the settings for anything. We actually seen the scenario where actually we have seen just by writing with sharing or without sharing, we can actually ensure that who will have the access, how will have the access, everything we saw in the past, right? Just by writing with sharing and without sharing, we can actually do the class level security, right? Now, after that, there is one more thing where we can actually share any record to a person on the fly, and that dynamic way is called as epic sharing. Epic sharing. For example, let's say there is a person, and name of the person is, let's say, for example, Shaker. He created a record, let's say record number 9, and there is a Tom right now not having access to the record. So how Shaker can share the record or give the access to Tom? So for this record, whenever he is looking for making, whenever you want to make this record available for Shaker, for Tom, what he can do? Maybe he can just go by role level sharing. Otherwise, Shaker can go for sharing rule. Otherwise, Shaker can go for manual sharing, right? But please note, apart from that, Shaker can also do one more thing. By code, he can share the record with Tom, and that's called as Apex sharing. Means sharing done by Apex or in the Apex class by coding, purely by coding. So how we can do this? Let me tell you. First of all, let me tell you that when we have the concept like role or sharing rule or manual sharing, then why there is need of learning this topic. So why we need to learn this topic? Please note, actually, these are all going to be done manually. And also, please note that this is sharing rule is dynamic depending on the situation. But again, you have here the scenarios done, which is going to be in almost rigid pattern. Almost, almost you can say, just select this owner, then this, if this is the owner of the record, then that will be the owner of the record. That person can access. For example, if the vice president role is the owner of that record, then CEO role can access the record. Or if country equal to UK, then share with role of Tom. This kind of things we can do. But here actually what happens during the coding, when we are calling an Apex class or working on some triggers, and during the code you want to actually give the access, then that is something very powerful feature here. Apart from that, in sharing rule, you also know very well that we cannot share with a single user. You also know very well, we saw in the admin training, we cannot share with a single user. But here you can share with a single user also. Apart from that, you cannot do this kind of usage in a trigger. You're writing a trigger, you're writing apex class, and then from that you are calling sharing rule. No, not possible. But here you're writing trigger, apex class, some code is working, and at that time on the fly, you have to take a decision. Okay, I want to share this record with XYZ person. Yes, you can do that. So this way, in the coding, if you want to do any kind of sharing, then this concept is useful. It's not necessary that always you do by coding. It's not necessary you always do by sharing rule. It depends on situation to situation. You want to do everything at the coding level, depending on the situation, depending on some scenario, depending on some logic, which is going to be only possible to be understood at coding, then you do by coding level. But you know in the advance only, country UK share to UK placement officer role. Fine, no problem. Technology equal to Salesforce, then share with XYZ public group. No problem. You know in advance, then complete this by sharing rule. If you don't know, it's on the fly. Then you take the benefit of today's topic. So there are some important things which you should know about this topic, and let me tell you the background of this first of all topic. What we will do now, we will, let's say we are working on Parker Penn's company project, and what we will do, let's say for learning purpose, let's say I will create a record, and the name of the record I will give is, let's say for example I will give some kind of name here, and let's say I will give the name is, let's say for example I will give the name, let's say some unique name I will give, let's say for example something like this, let's say something like Kenny for example, some unique name. Okay, I will be giving some kind of unique name. Now in this case, price doesn't matter, whatever price doesn't matter, whatever price you want to give. Okay, 111 I'm giving. Okay, and just save the record, that's it. So we have this record, but right now we don't have any idea that this record will be required to be get shared or something like that. We have no idea, we just created the record. But now at the coding level, we have on the fly taken a decision. Let's say for example, the at runtime we have came to know that we have to share the Kenny's record, or we got some value from visual force page from customer, and then we need to share the record, anything. But on the fly we have to take this decision. Okay, and now, and that is to be done at trigger level, at apex class level, or at coding level. So now definitely we have only one solution, that is today's topic, as this is the only solution for coding level. So now what we will do, so let's write a code. And now here we are writing the code, and let me just do one thing, let me go to the developer console. So just give 1 second. So what I will do now, I will open developer console. So let's go for that and pay attention now how we can do this by coding level. Now whatever logic we are going to write, whether you write in apex class, whether you write in anonymous window, it is same. And that is something we already saw in our training program. So you know there is no difference between apex class and anonymous window. Only for temporary purpose in your code we are writing, then we go for anonymous window. So right now we are learning here, so fine, we can go for anonymous window. So I will write the code in anonymous window. The same code we can copy paste in any apex class, it works completely fine. So now let me just do one thing. So let me now tell you what we are going to do. First of all, the first step So what we are doing here, please note here, sharing record by code or in apex class. Okay, whatever we have seen in the past, everything we saw in the manual way. Now what I'm going to do here, the first step what I will do is, actually I will decide my object. What is my object? API name. Okay, so here API name of object. What is the object you are having? So see, the API name I'm just going to copy from here. So let me go for the object definition page and let me copy the API name. So I'm going to copy the API name. It is loading. Okay, so now on this page you can see the API name of that object. So now just copy that API name, and now by using that API name we can actually proceed ahead. So just 1 second, just copy here the API name. This is the API name. Okay, copy this name, API name, and come to this code and paste here. API name object is this. For this scenario it will become something like this. See, for this scenario, for this sharing scenario, for this apex sharing scenario, okay, the table name will be like this. Okay, what we are going to do is this, put this as it is. Okay, now only small difference will be, instead of underscore underscore c, you are going to replace c with share. Replace c with share. Simple, that's it. Just replace c with share. Simple, that's it. Okay, so that's it. This is our object name. So now here, what is going to be our object name? So please note, now your object name, so here, so is your object name is this. Okay, now create a variable of this object. So create variable of the object, and of which you want to share record. So you want to share the record of pen object, right? Okay, create the variable. So how we can create? Now copy this and equal to, let's say, var pen record or pen record share, something like this. Okay, and give equal to, and then write new, and this is copy and paste and done. You have seen all these things in the training program. This is not new for you. Okay, creating a variable of any object is not new for you. So this will create the variable. Now after that, now what you need to do is, you have to use this variable and start using the variable now, and decide which record you want to share. How we can do this? See, copy this variable name and give dot, and then after that there is a property called as the there is a property, and that is called as parent id. Okay, so you have to write here parent id. Parent id means you have to here, like you have to give the record id. Okay, so now what we'll do here, give record id which you want to use for this sharing process. So you want to work for which record id? Now let me show you by going to Salesforce environment. Actually we are focused on this record. Where is that? This Kenny record. Okay, we are interested in this record. So let's get the id of this record. How to get it, that also you know already, we saw this in the training program. Let me write a query here. Okay, let me write a query here. So what I will do now here, select id from which object? So now we are writing normal query. I'm writing normal query. I'm not doing any sharing logic. I'm just doing normal query. So in the normal query, you don't write this share. Okay, only for this code share is used. Otherwise, for normal query, this API is, we are going to continue the way we saw in the past. So select ID from this object, and where now ensure that you are giving the where condition in such a way that it will find out your unique name. Okay, so for example, if there are so many people with the name Kenny, then give his last name, or go for unique value like employee ID, phone number, which will not repeat. So I know here Kenny is the only one record in my database, so I don't need to worry. Where name equal to Kenny, I know that there is only one record. That's why I'm having no problem. And also you can just test it. Copy this, and you can also do one thing here. You can just copy. You can just open this query editor. You can go for the query editor and paste here. Look at this, only one record coming. Look at this, only one record coming. Okay, so it's working fine. I got my record ID, so it's working fine. And now I'm going to close this window, and I'm getting only one record. So let me now do the needful here. So I will get the only one record, and you already learned how to write the query. So just put in the bracket, and then at the left hand side get a container. So at the left hand side we always give list. But also know one additional thing, that if you are very sure at the left hand side, if you're very sure this query is going to return only one record, if you are sure it's going to only return one record, because you are passing employee ID and phone number, and it is impossible now to have any more than one record in your database with that phone number, because you have added a unique field constraint the way we saw in the admin training. So this way, if you are very sure, then no need to go for list. Otherwise, create the list and then try for the first index, the zeroth index. That way also do. But here I'm very sure there is no record apart from Kenny, so you can directly go for that. Now only if you are 100% sure, otherwise error is going to come. Please note, error will surely come. If you are not 100% confirmed, then simply write list here. I'm here 100% confirmed, so I'm going to write a simple variable, a pen variable, pen, and sorry, uh, yeah, pen, and then I'm going to write here where p, something like that. I'm very sure only one record will be coming here, so I'm getting it here, and then after that I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to actually here use system dot, and I'm just going to use your system dot debug, and I'm going to just here check where p dot id I am getting the correct id or not. I'm just going to check it here. I'm getting correct id or not, properly I'm getting id or not. Okay, so what I will do is I'm going to just here select these two lines, and I'm just going to select these two lines. I'm just going to run this much to see whether my query is giving me as expected results. So here I'm just writing this query, and I'm going to do this print. So at that time I want to focus on only two lines, so select the two lines by mouse cursor and click on execute highlighted. So only these two lines will be executed, and now in the system.debug we will see whether our query is working or not, working fine or not. Okay, no error came means query is fine. No error came means query is fine. Now click on system.debug. Sorry, click on debug only. Yes, we are getting ID means it's working fine. Okay, all fine. So this way we got the ID depending on whatever record we want. Okay, all right. Now this ID you copy and paste here and give it to this. Okay, and now I'm going to comment this system.debug. I don't want that now, and fine. So this way I got that record ID in which I'm having interest, and this way what we are done. So we decide which record you want to share and give the record ID which you want to use for the sharing purpose. Everything is done. Next, now after this, now you have to decide this record ID. You are clear, record is okay, but now you have to decide to which person you want to share this record. So please note, we want to share this record with Tom. Okay, we want to share this record with Tom. So now what I will do here is, now let me tell you, first of all, we have to uh, here fetch the record ID of Tom. So get record ID of Tom user to whom we want to share above record. So how to get it? Again by query, simple. Whatever we are doing in this here, we are whatever in the real-time project for pattern we follow, we are doing the same here. So write the query. What will be the query? Query will be something like this. Select user, sorry, select ID from user. This is a standard object that we already saw in our admin training in the security topic. Select ID from user where now I know in my database there is only one person with the name Tom. I know that. Okay, so without any worry, I'm writing here where name, or in fact the first name equal to Tom, and it's also having dot, by the way. See, let me show you in my Salesforce environment. If I go to users, if I go to setup, let me show you that how I know there is only one person with the name Tom in my database. So let me go to Salesforce environment. So let the page get loaded, and just type here the left hand side user, and click on the user. So now you can see on the screen I have only one user Tom, and if I edit this, then I can show you also his first name. What is his first name? I'm going to click on edit button, and I'm going to simply copy his first name because I know there is only one person in my database with that name. So I don't need to worry about anything else. Just I'm going to copy his first name. I'm just going to copy Tom dot something is unique value, and I'm going to come here, and here I'm going to write Tom. So just I'm going to paste it here. So this way I know only one record will come. That's why at the left hand side when I'm going to fetch this query, so if you see here, first of all let me copy this, and let me cut, and let me write first of all here in the left hand side user where you record. Why I'm writing single record? Because I'm confident I know it's not list, it's going to be single record. Okay, then you're confident, then you go for this. If you're not confident, then use list, and this way I will get the record of Tom in where you. Then what I will do, I will just for my satisfaction print this value to see whether really any value is coming. So system.debug, and here where you. So let me just print, and by select, let me select only two lines, and let me now here check system or execute highlighted and see here where it's working or not for my own satisfaction and clarification. And this is the same approach you guys also need to follow in your project. Step by step checking is to be done, not directly at the end and waste lots of time in understanding where is the actual root cause. So you can see it's coming. Okay, I got the ID. So it means there is one record coming, and that's Tom's record coming. Everything is good now. I have record ID also. So I will remove this line now, and I'm going to use this record ID for one more parameter. So here there is one more property that we need to add. So here we need to set the record ID, and that is for user or group ID. So we have to set here user or group ID, and give the ID here where you. So Tom's ID will be given here. By the way, here we can set single user or public group ID as well. What is the meaning of public group? We already saw in our training, so you know that. So we can give single user also or public group also. That's a specialty here. and you know that in sharing rule it's not possible. In sharing rule we cannot go for single user, so that's the benefit here. All right, so see, record is ready, then the user is ready. Now only one thing which is pending, you have to decide which sharing you want to give. Now please note, access level, read or edit, these are the two options. So decide here. So let me mention here, decide which access level we want to give. Please note we have two options. What are the options? Either read or edit. Okay, two options are there. So here, or in fact two famous options. Okay, and now what I will do, I will just copy this and I will just write here dot access level. These are the, this is the property, this is the field you can say, and we need to set here what is the access. Let's give read access. Okay, or if you want to write edit, you can write edit, your wish. Let's give read access. Now then we have to finally commit this entire work in the database. We have to commit this entire work in the database, and we already saw that if you want to commit this kind of things in the database, and that too with the best practice, then we have seen our training program that there is a database dot insert. This scenario we have seen already in the training program, and then also we understood that whatever you want to insert, just need to copy and paste here. And plus also we have seen in our training program itself, if you want to actually ensure that the by default behavior, all success or all failure, that you don't want, partial success also okay for you, then you have to pass false here. Everything we saw in our training program in the past, and this way we are actually performing this activity and calling this code. Please note here that whenever it's going to give any kind of result to us, that will be in the format of database.save result format. And please note here, now let me write here in the, so the results are always, it's going to return the value, and that's in the database.save result format. Okay, this is going to be the format. And now in fact commit to the, commit to the database. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, actually I'm going to show you first of all, before doing any commit, before running this code, what is the current situation? Can Tom see record of Shaker? Let's see first of all that one. What is the current situation before we run this code? This code is not, we did not run this code yet. Okay, this code is still in the kind of just a creation mode. We never run this code. So let me see this Kenny record. Look at this Kenny record. Okay, now I'm going to proceed for Tom's login and see whether he can see record of Shaker or not. So let me come out of Tom's edit mode, and now let me see whether Tom can see record of Shaker or not. Click on login, click on login, and please note whatever we are done, whatever we have seen right now, this is the for, this is for custom object. For standard object is also almost similar behavior. For standard also almost everything same. For standard almost everything same. The only difference will be in the standard, you know that there is no extension for standard objects. You know there is no extension for standard object like underscore underscore c kind of things. That's the only small difference. Otherwise for standard object no major difference. Please note this point. And now, and now let me proceed. So I logged into, so let me show you. See, I'm in the Tom now. I logged into Tom now. So now I will do one thing. I will open pen object and I will see whether Tom can see any record or that record Kenny. Let me type here. Let me click on the this app launcher. Let me click on 9 dots and let me now type here pen and see if can Tom see Kenny record right now or not. So type pen here and let me open the Parker pen object in which we are doing all these things. The object name is Parker pen. I hope you remember. And let me click on all. So you can see there is no record called as Kenny which Tom can access. Means Shekhar's record Kenny is not available to Tom. Okay. Fine. Now let me do one thing. Now let me run this code and let me make this record available for Tom without doing any sharing rule, without doing any role, without doing anything. By coding, how can I do this? See now. So I'm here. Okay. So please note, we have created the record, and then we decided which is the record ID, and then which is the user ID, and then what kind of access, read access, and also finally we are going to actually commit with this statement which we have here. Okay, so now I'm going to execute this code. And now please note one more important thing you need to understand here, that this line expects the ID. This line expects the ID, and this value is the complete record of Tom. This value is having ID of Tom, first name, last name, salary, age, whatever. We want only ID. So in this case, do one thing, value dot ID. Okay, so that it will only give you ID. And now after this, what you can do, run the code, execute the code, please. Execute. Log is getting created. Log is getting created. Log is created. Okay, fine. Now it means everything done fine. At least there was no runtime error. Now let us see anything else, or whether it's working fine or not. Now let me go to Tom, and if Tom can see Kenny record, then that's it. We have successfully done this sharing on the fly, on the code level, without doing any manual non-coding activities. So I'm now going to log into Tom. So I logged into Tom, and just wait a minute. Now I'm going to open the object called as pen, because we are doing all these things for the pen object only. So let me type here in the 9 dots. Okay, it's already there, already open there. You can see it's already open there. It's already open there. So do one thing, click on that tab and select there all. Select there all records. Show me all records. Show me all records. And look at this. So now Tom can see Kenny record also. Previously Kiran was available, but now Kenny also available. And please note, if you can you open the Kenny record? Yes, because he has been given view access, see access, read access. Okay, so can he open? Yes, he can see the Kenny record. And what if Tom is going to click on edit? Please note, we never gave him any kind of edit access. If he is trying to edit, look at this, what's going to happen. And now he will get error that you are not having that access. Okay, so this way we are done with one important learning, and that is nothing but how actually we can work on the code in the dynamic way. Very useful topic, not regularly used, not every time we are using this concept, but still it's good to have in the knowledge, because sometimes in the job you may need this. Maybe sometimes here in the interview also they may ask you that, do you know how to do apex sharing? So please note, step number 1, you actually decide your object and create the share format object. Just create the API name with the share, then decide which record you want and get that record ID from the database. Then fetch the user ID, to which user you want to share. You can share with public group also, and then give the access level, either read or edit, and finally commit to the database, and that's it, it will be done. Okay, that's all with this session, and let's meet in the next bonus session.